Hey friends, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about some series that I hope to finish in 2022. So all of these series are books that I've read at least one book from. Some of them I've read more than one book that I really hope to finish, that are all, some of them are not completed series, so some of them still have books coming out. So I'd like to read all of the books that are out in 2022, if that makes sense. So like, I'd like to catch up and then read whatever comes out in 2022. I think that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I think only one of them that I'm going to talk about is not completed. So let's get into it. So the first series that I am going to talk about is the Kingmaker Chronicles by Amanda Boucher. Book 1 is A Promise of Fire, and I have read just book 1. I would like to read book 2, which is Breath of Fire, and book 3, which is called Heart on Fire, in 2022. I absolutely loved book 1. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite fantasy romances that I've read. It's very interesting. Kat is what's known as a kingmaker. She can tell when people are lying, and this trait only comes around like once every couple hundred years. And so she is very hunted by, the kingmakers are hunted by politicians basically, because they can use the kingmakers to find out who's lying to them, and that's a very useful skill. Useful tool to use to know if people are loyal to you. And so Kat is in hiding, and she ends up being caught by this man named Griffin, who takes her back to his country or his territory, and wants to use her as the kingmaker. And I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. And I bought book 2 almost immediately after I finished book 1, and then I never got to it. So I would really like to get to book 2 and 3 in 2022. It's perfect timing because Faro Feb starts in February. It's a readathon for the month of February, and that's about reading fantasy romances. So I'm hoping to read Breath of Fire for that. But either way, I will be finishing the Kingmaker Chronicles in 2022. The next series is the one that is not completed, and that is the Bergman Brothers series. I have read this one, which is Always Only You. It's my favorite one, favorite books ever. And I've also read With You Forever, which is book 4. And those are the only, there are only 4 books out currently, but I believe there are going to be 6 in this series. I could be wrong, but I think there's going to be 6 or 7. But I never read book 1 or 3. I skipped around because I wanted to start with book 2. Book 1 is Only When It's Us, and book 3 is Ever After Always. And I really hope to get to them in 2022. This series follows the Bergman family, so each book is a different sibling's love story. Book 1 is a sports romance, I think. They're in college, and he is a soccer player, I think, or she's a soccer player. And then book 3 is a marriage and trouble romance, which is why I skipped that one, because marriage and trouble romances are not usually my favorite. So I skipped that one in order to go to book 4. But I do want to read it because I believe in Chloe Leese and her ability to make me like a marriage and trouble romance. So I absolutely love this series, what I've read of this series, and I will be finishing what is currently out in 2022. And I think maybe a new book comes out in 2022. I don't know. That could just be me hoping. The next series is the Hoops series by Kennedy Ryan. I have read Long Shot, which is technically book 1 in the series. I don't think you need to read them in order, or I've heard you don't need to read them in order, but I started with Long Shot, which is book 1. I loved it, gave it 5 stars. This is Kennedy Ryan, so they are angsty deal with very hard topics, romances, that all center around basketball. And I love The Long Shot, but I have not gotten to Block Shot, which is book 2, or this third one, which is Hook Shot. I am most excited to get to Hook Shot. I absolutely love the special edition cover that I have. But either way, I do want to read both of those in 2022. This is actually like a really big goal for me because I'd say hard goal for me. It's going to be a challenge for me because as much as I adore Kennedy Ryan, her books are a lot, and I already have a couple of others that are on my list to read in 2022. So I'm going to have to spread them out with like enough time between them to give myself time to emotionally recover. But I do very much want to read the rest of the series. The next series is the Wicked Villains series by Katie Robert. This series was actually on my favorite series list of 2021 because I have read the very large majority of this series. The only one that I have not read is the last one, which is Queen Takes Rose. I believe it is I think it's like a Snow White story. That's what I'm gonna think. That's what I think. Or maybe it's actually I think it might be Sleeping Beauty. I really don't know. But the Wicked Villain series is all twisted, sexy, Disney villain retellings. So they are twisted tales. So they are the villains' love stories. So book 1 is Jasmine and Jafar. Book 2 is Hook and Tank. Book 3 is Beast. No, book 2 is Hades, Meg, and Hercules, polyamorous, and book 3 is Hook and Tank. Book 4 is Beast, Belle, and Gaston, polyamorous. Book 4 is the Sea Witch. I think it's Ursula. So I very much love the series, but I have not read the last one, so I do want to get to the last one. So I'm very excited about that. The next series is the Miles High Club series. The first one is The Stopover and the second is The Takeover. I have read both of these books. They are all billionaire romances that follow the Miles brothers, who all own a company, and each brother has a different place in the company. So the one that I have not gotten to yet is The Casanova. I am excited about this. I really liked book 1 and book 2. I liked book 2 more than book 1, but I did enjoy book 1 and book 2. So I'm incredibly excited to read this one. I hope I like it. I really hope I like it. I have a feeling that I will. But I want to get to this one. I don't know if this is still an ongoing series. I think there's only 3 brothers, but there might be 4 brothers, so it could have a 4th book, but I don't know. The next one that I want to mention is the Stage Dive series by Kylie Scott. This is a rockstar romance series. I've read book 1, 2, and 3 in the series. Book 1 is a Married in Vegas romance that follows the lead guitarist. Book 2 is a fake dating friends to lovers one that is the drummer. Book 3 is my favorite. It is the lead singer who is a recovering addict and he falls in love with the woman that is his sober coach. And then book 4 is the one that I have not read yet. That is called Deep, and it is, I guess, the bass guitarist's. I guess that's the last position. I guess that's the last instrument left. I think he's the bass guitarist, and I believe that it's his, I think I know who his love interest is, and I think that the book might have a surprise pregnancy in it, which is not usually my favorite. It's not one of my favorite tropes, but I don't mind it every so often, so I am intrigued to see how it goes. I hope I like it. I have really enjoyed the others in the series. They are fun, sexy, enjoyable, fast-paced. So I hope that the last one will be as well. Okay, then we get to the last one. The last one that I'm going to talk about is Ivan by Sophie Lark. So this is the Underworld series by Sophie Lark. This is book 1 in the Underworld series, and I want to say that I will finish the Underworld series, but I don't know if I will, because they are all not on audio. But it is a reach goal, a stretch goal of mine, because I would like to read all of Sophie Lark's books, because I want to continue with this one and read Snow, which is book 2. However, in the official Sophie Lark reading order, you're supposed to read the Brutal Birthright series first, and then read book 1 and 2 in the Kingmaker series, and then read Ivan, and then read Snow, and then finish the Kingmaker series, and then finish the Underworld series. I'm pretty sure that's right. I think that's what Jen said. Jen from the Book Refuge, queen of all things Sophie Lark, she has a reading order that she shared on her channel. That's like the official reading order, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I would like to follow that. I've broken it already because my first Sophie Lark book was Ivan. But I have now finished book 1, Brutal Prince, in the Brutal Birthright series. So I want to read all of the required reading for Sophie, or like all of the like recommended reading order for Sophie Lark's reading, in order to finish the Brutal Birthright, the Kingmakers, and also the Underworld series. So reach goal. However, the Brutal Birthright and the Brutal Birthright series are all on audio, and the first book in the Kingmaker series just came out on audio, so I think that she's making the rest of them out on audio this year. So like high hopes that this series will also get audio, but even if it doesn't, the other ones are going to be on audio, so I will be able to go through those quicker, and then this series will just take me a little longer, and hopefully I can still finish it all by the end of 2022. So it's going to be interesting. So basically my goal is not just to finish this series, but to finish Sophie Lark's backlist, basically. But I don't care. This is my channel. I can do what I want. So that is it. That's all the books that I had to talk about. That's all the series that I have to talk about. I really hope that I can get to all this plus all the other ones that are on my TBR for this year are a lot. So I have to get going. But I'm hoping that I can get to all of them, because I'm excited about all of them. So that is it for this video. Please let me know if there are any series that you'd like to finish this year, or if any of these series are on your list and if you enjoyed them. But that's it for this video, so please give it a like if you liked it, and subscribe so you can see me in the next one. Bye!